Hi there, it's Rory here. I'm just taking my dogs for a walk, not my dogs, but the dogs I look after for a walk, and I just thought I'd talk about what's coming and what's just happened. The Israeli hostages have been released. 20 living men have been released from a terrible 2-year captivity, horrendous, exactly 2 years after they were captured, and I have some questions about that. Certainly, God has answered the prayers of many for their return, and I'm very grateful about that. But I'm also quite disturbed with how it's happened, because essentially Israel has released a whole lot of bloodthirsty criminals that have killed Jews, and they've released them from captivity. So that's going to torment the people that, the families of those that were murdered by them, and they're going to perpetrate the same thing all over again, or try to. The Hamas are still in control of Gaza, and they're killing their own people to re-establish their reign of terror upon the people, and their violence has been rewarded. They have got far more people back from Israeli prisons than they captured. They've done very well. Yes, Gaza's been decimated, but it seems that just evildoers just increase and get away with stuff, and innocent people are the ones that pay the price. Nevertheless, God has answered prayers, and we have hostages back, but a very cynical game is being played by the leaders of this world. We had 20 world leaders gather in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, in order to discuss what to do with Israel, essentially. Trump's saying it is a great victory for peace, but it's not. We have some well-meaning Jewish believers, Yair Pinto and Marty Shoshani, telling us it's all good, and everything's going to be great with the Abraham Accords. I couldn't disagree more. I think that Israel's enemies are conspiring against her, and Benjamin Netanyahu wasn't invited to Sharm el-Sheikh, and the president of Turkey, Erdogan, circled around in his plane until it was confirmed that Netanyahu wouldn't be there. So it's not about peace with Israel. It's about a piece of Israel. It's about preparations for war, making a deal that will put Israel into a situation that she'll regret later on. So let me just turn this around. Is that right? I can't see. Let's just turn it around. Yeah, you can see my doggies instead of looking at me all day. They're very cute. Yeah, it's not about what's best for Israel. This conference is all about a future attack. It's just a hudna. It's a ceasefire in order to be better prepared for another day to fight. It was convened in Egypt, which has a sort of cold peace treaty with Israel, but they're not friends. It's not like a peace treaty where we're friends. It's a peace treaty where they say, hey, let's just stop for a while until we're better prepared to attack you again. Israel and Jerusalem are going to be a cup of trembling for all nations. Now, Israel was by no means a perfect nation, but those nations that hate Israel are in the Middle East are places of terror, are places of intolerance, are places that are difficult for the gospel. And Israel has, spent a lot of time and money and blood to retaliate against Hamas, only to, and when they were in the place of power with their, when they could have taken Gaza, they gave it all back to the terrorists in order to get 20 Jews back. And I'm glad for those people that are back. So I just want to say it's a victory and a defeat at the same time. It's a victory in the sense that those 20 Jewish lives have come out of 2 years of hell, and now they are back in the land of the living. But it's not a good deal, because in a future time Israel is going to have to fight Gaza all over again, because Israel has this habit of winning their battles, winning the war and losing the peace. And yet again, Israel has look at these doggies, just so funny. I'll switch the camera around later. Make me laugh. She was just rolling around on her belly before, and very cute. Where was I? Israel is in a very, very bad situation, actually, because she's surrounded by enemies, and she has leaders that kowtow to the nations. Because as a nation, she doesn't trust the Lord. And only Yeshua can deliver, only the Mashiach can deliver, and both the religious leaders and the secular leaders don't want him. And there's a little remnant of Jewish people in the land that believe in Yeshua, and there's Arabs also that believe in Yeshua, and that's really good. I'm really pleased about that. But her leaders are leading her astray. They're making the best decision they think they can make within the circumstances, like Jacob made his decisions the best way he knew how, without really knowing the Lord. But something good has come out of all of this, is that Israel is beginning to take the Bible more seriously. And although, Jews may not all believe in Yeshua, at least are beginning to believe Moses. And Israel was a secular nation for many years, and it's shifting more and more to at least believing in the Bible. And, God's done a miracle in people's hearts through this severe trauma. So despite what the leaders have done, the leaders are a little bit like, and Benjamin Netanyahu is a little bit like King Saul. Doesn't trust in the Lord like King David did. He does what seems expedient and what seems logical. But anyway, I'm pleased that the nightmare is over, at least for now. But terrorism is not going to stop, and the desire of many of the Arab nations, not all of them, and many of them anyway, and including many Europeans, for the destruction of the Jewish state hasn't stopped, and the old hatreds are still there, and Israel has not trusted in the Lord as a nation. Now, I'm not saying this to point a finger at everybody, because like I've got it all together. it's very difficult for us to trust in the Lord when we're being attacked. And we in the West have had it good for many years, but the thumbscrews are coming on, and tyranny is coming through the beast system. The technology of the beast system is being implemented around us step by step. And we need to come out of Babylon. And we need to come out of this system that is actually against us. And so we need to be looking to the Lord for where He would have us live, where He would have us work. We need to be very, very intentional about our decisions, because the enemy is coming like a flood to destroy us. So that's the situation that we are in. And so we need to be listening to the Lord and being led. And we need the Lord's favour. And, you know, we all sin, we all fail in many ways. But we need our eyes on the Lord. And we need to get our eyes firmly planted on the Lord, who is our salvation. So that's all really I wanted to share right now, is that the peace that we've been promised is not actually a real peace. It's actually just an interlude. It's a ceasefire, really. And all of these agreements that Israel is making with the Arab nations are not going to last, because the peace is not about truth. And I know that there are many Jewish people and others that are starry-eyed about the Abraham Accords, but it's not going to work long term. It's all going to come with basically Israel is actually giving away its sovereignty by trusting in the nations instead of God, trusting in these treaties. And what's going to happen is that the people that have made these treaties with Israel, like Qatar and Turkey, which are absolute enemies of Israel, the implications of all these treaties is that Israel is going to be on the back foot later on, where the nations are going to say, hey, you agreed to this, and we've got our peacekeeping troops here because you agreed to it, and you're the problem. And so Israel is actually has temporarily solved a problem, but has made it much worse for herself later on. And that later on may not be in the too distant future. It says concerning the Antichrist that he will confirm an agreement with many. And that agreement could be the Abraham Accords later on, that he will confirm it. And so I believe that the whole spirit of all of these treaties is Antichrist, that Israel needs to actually just win her wars. That's what she's got to do. Anyway, that's all for me for now. God bless you wherever you are. And just know that if you're not Jewish or you're not part of the lost tribes of Israel, all of what I'm talking about is going to affect all of us. Because what happens with Israel, even the house of Judah that is in unbelief, affects all of us. All of us. And the bride has to make herself ready. We have to get ready to meet our God. And the world, as we know it, is about to shift. It's about to change forever. And I may be wrong on details of prophecy, exactly when things are happening, but I believe the clock is ticking, and we have to get ready to meet our King, and our nations are about to be shaken. Bless you, and see you later. Bye-bye. Shalom.